Hello, this is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. So today I'm going to cover a very interesting line against the Zhuravlev Countergambit in the Vienna Game. So what is that exactly? So Vienna Game, of course, is e4, e5, knight c3. And the Zhuravlev Countergambit is the immediate bishop to b4 counter-attacking our knight. Now, the best response to this, if you look at Stockfish, is any number of moves. So d4 makes sense, you know, when you have the opportunity to take the center to do so. You can also just develop your other knight, ignore the bishop. So opening principles, develop. The move that's quite good is to play knight to d5, so immediately counterattacking the bishop, so asking the question of why exactly it's there. And Stockfish also likes the wayward queen approach with queen to h5. And the wayward queen is legitimate when the bishop has come out early. However, Ben Hunt from Chess Bootcamp recently covered in a video a very neat fifth idea, which is queen to g4. And the moment I saw this, I really liked it because there's another opening, which I've covered in the recent past, that makes use of this system, and that is the giraffe attack in the Vienna Game. And as a quick recap, the giraffe attack, of course, begins with the Vienna, but where the bishop comes to c5, which is the Anderson defense, and here we have the giraffe attack, queen to g4, giraffe attack. And objectively not so good, but very tricky, very sneaky, and potentially quite easy to win. So back to this game. So here we've got the Zhuravlev, the queen g4 line, which I'm going to call the giraffe-ish attack, counter attack to the Zhuravlev. And the idea is, because the bishop has come out here, we can immediately now attack the g7 pawn. Basically asking the question, why is it here? Immediately making the attack. And one of the things is, even though this version of Stockfish calls it a minus 2.0, I sort of analyze it using Stockfish 15 with neural network up to depth 40, depth 50, and it's actually just equal. It's just 0, 0, 0. So it's definitely not a bad move. And here you actually can take the pawn if the opponent allows you to. Now you potentially can't end the giraffe attack actually because of some potential tricks that black can play. Here, those tricks don't exist. So this is potentially a powerful move. g4, queen g4, immediately attacking the g7 pawn, punishing the fact that the bishop has come early. Now in this game, my opponent decided to push their pawn to g6. And this is automatically bad because it permanently damages the kingside structure. That's actually what you're trying to induce. In fact, you're trying to induce that with bringing the queen out. And this diagonal is now potentially quite weak. And we will, as we will see, we will exploit this in this game. Now, looking at lead chess, this giraffe sort of counterattack approach is actually the single best win rate move in sort of lower rated blitz and rapid, over 60%, which is actually really, really good. The most common response here by black is actually to bring queen to f6, and in that position, jump the knight out with a very nice fork of the queen and bishop. So very winning if the opponent plays the queen. Here they play g6, which is still bad, and I think Stockfish actually calls it inaccuracy. You can see plus 0.66. Here, what you should do, slide the queen back to g3, which is a very sort of a natural parking square for the queen in sort of the giraffe attack type positions. And the idea is you're attacking the pawn on e5, which comes with check, and with that open diagonal, also attacking the rook. Now here, my opponent decides to, decides to take. That's fine. capture back with the pawn. Here, I think Stockfish thought that just taking with the queen, which of course still keeps pressure on the pawn to be better. And I'll also remember that next time because I could basically get the same thing without damaging my pawn side structure. Opponent now sort of sees this problem, so brings an extra defender in. So what am I going to do? Attack. So this is now my target. I'm going to attack that pawn. They push forward again, bring the knight out, placing more pressure. And here they make a non-committal move. I assume they just really weren't sure what they should do, but now this gives me the advantage. Take, they take back, and here I take with the knight, and Stockfish calls this a brilliant move because it looks like a knight sacrifice, but they actually can't take that knight. My opponent did take the knight, and now that whole original attack with the weakening due to G6 is enacted. So an absolute fork. They bring the queen out, take the rook, and here I am basically completely winning. So plus 5.5, plus 6. Very difficult now for black to play. You know, it's interesting, neither of us really have very much development apart from the queen. They take, can block with bishop. Now they try to develop here. I'm sort of asking, let's trade queens. They opted to decide to take that pawn instead. That's fine. The queen is now practically trapped. What are they going to do? They sort of now counterattack my queen, but I was going to trade queens anyway. So take, and in fact here the opponent opted to resign on move 15 because after they capture, I can capture back, and then basically we enter an endgame where I'm up a substantial amount of material. Good game, GG. My big takeaway is to try Queen G4, this giraffish counterattack to the Zhuravlev Countergambit. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.